In today's video, I'm going to tell you all about our all-new Ambassadors Baseball. It's a new program. We're just launching it. I've got 10 bullet points to go over with you today. I think you're really going to appreciate how well thought out this new program is and possibly how you can be a part of it. Let's get started.
And now, the most trusted name in all of youth sports, here's Coach Mark.
Okay, it's Coach Mark here. Happy to be here with you. Thank you for watching. Make sure you're clicking that like button, making some comments, interacting with me, and certainly subscribing to the channel. All right, well, let me first state the obvious. The last thing that we need is another travel baseball program. Would you agree? There are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of them, and there are different types of travel programs for sure. But when I look at the industry, I have yet to see one that I think is put together perfectly with all the elements that are needed to make a travel program an amazing experience for both the player, the coach, and the family. Because, you can please one of those. It's rare that you please two, and it's virtually impossible for any of these programs to keep all three of those entities happy. So I'm going to break it down today, but let me give you the backdrop. I've been in this, we'll call it the industry of travel baseball, because that's what it's become, since 2006. I go back a long way. And I started with my son to help him and some other kids move on to the next level. There was nothing really set up to help, in our area anyway, what I would call elite level players, kids that really had some ability and wanted to play at the next level. There was all kinds of baseball, but it wasn't geared for that. So I put a plan together, went out and recruited some kids that were like my son. They had some ability and they wanted to pursue this. They were serious about it. And that's how I got started in this in 2006. Well, since then, I've helped almost 1,000 kids move on to the next level. I started and ran one of the top travel programs in the country. Now, it had some evolutions. We were with the Canes early on. We were with Rob Bruno out in NorCal with the NorCal program. We were sponsored by Chandler Bats for a couple of years. But then I started the U.S. Elite version of that, and that's where things really took off. And that was an amazing experience with many, many, many amazing people came into that program. And then somebody took it over, and I had a chance to take a couple years off and reset. That's when I came up with the idea to start the Ambassadors Group, which you've been hearing about. It's my consulting company. I love that. I have a great client base, really not expanding too much beyond where I am right now with my personal clients. So it's time now to go to phase 2, which is the Ambassadors Baseball. So I'm going to break down today what it is, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and who we're doing it for. I know that's not grammatically correct. For whom we're doing it. Let's do it that way. All right. So let me just say this. I made a list of all the things I don't like about travel baseball. There is a place for it. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be doing this if there wasn't value to what we're doing. But there's no place for another program that's doing it like everybody else. I've always been entrepreneurial, and the way I've always formed any business is I found problems many times for myself, solved the problem, and found out there were other people that had the same problems, and that became a business. It's a fun way to do a business. If you go back all the way, I didn't start into travel baseball as a business. I started it to help some kids because there was a problem that there was no solution for them. We created the solution for them. So that's what this is. This is a new solution to some problems. So sorry for the long introduction, but I think it helps to know what's inspiring this. So I have a little list here in front of me. It's designed to keep me on track. So let me go through the 10 things about Ambassadors Baseball that's going to make this unlike any other program in the country. And those aren't just words. You can take my list and you can go out and search to your heart's content and try to find a program that's set up exactly like this. You won't be able to do it. And if you do, you let me know in the comments, because I have not seen it in 20 years. All right, let's start with the most important as far as I'm concerned. You know, I'm 62 years old. Everything I do now as I've matured is tied to my faith. I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I'm not going to apologize for that. So our program is going to be faith-based. I'm a Christian. Doesn't mean you have to be a Christian to play in the organization. It just means when we talk about our values, they're Judeo-Christian values. They're coming from somewhere. I didn't make them up. Okay, it's not the world according to Mark. We are operating from a set of values that as Christians, most of us can agree, this is how we want to run our life. So I'm going to run the program with those Judeo-Christian values. That will give it more meaning for me, because I'll be honest with you, if it was only about baseball, if it was only about getting a scholarship, which I understand is most people's desire, okay, that's fine. But if that's all we get out of this, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So faith-based. Number 2, I've got to say, I don't really believe in travel baseball at the younger ages. Okay, so we're not going to start with young teams. If you're a parent of an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old, I'm just telling you, stay home, have fun, keep life balanced. Let these kids enjoy being a kid. Don't push the envelope when they're 8 and 9 and 10. You don't need to do that. I mean, if you want to do it because it's fun, travel all around with a 9-year-old, try to get ranked. I mean, I just don't see the value in that. I definitely will tell you as a consultant, there's no need for you to do that. If anybody is telling you that you're getting behind as a 9-year-old and you're not going to be able to catch up, that is such a fear-mongering tactic. Don't do it. Don't do it. So we're going to start our program at 13 years old. So if your son is not of age, it's okay. We are going to be looking at 11 and 12-year-olds. We may take a team to Cooperstown next summer to kind of get the ball rolling with some younger kids. But our teams will start at 13. So number 3, I also don't believe in watered down baseball. I don't believe that everybody should be traveling around spending huge amounts of money. So I don't want to contribute to that. I don't want to ever be thought of or known as one of these guys that just gets their calculator out and figures more teams equals more money. I mean, I got friends in the industry, and some of them have hundreds and hundreds of teams. I watch their teams. They're not very good, but they've got a roster spot for them, and I'm sure those guys don't like me saying it. Hey, it's free enterprise, right? If you want to build a business and attract thousands and thousands and thousands of kids, okay, go do it. I don't want to do that. That's not my purpose at all. So it's a long way of saying we're going to be elite, meaning we're going to be very selective with who we put on the team. When I started this with my son, Christian, I went all across Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, Virginia, New York, Ohio. I was only looking for 15 kids. I mean, I would have a tryout with 100 kids, and only 3 of them were the kind of kids I was looking for. It wasn't that I didn't like the other 97 kids. It was just they didn't match up for the purpose. The purpose was to go help these kids become Division I athletes. That was their goal, okay? And I'm not saying you have to play Division I baseball. I'm just saying let's have a goal in mind. If that's the goal, let's do it according to that. Well, you can't have 2 or 3 really good kids on a team, a couple of average kids, and some kids that can't play. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So our teams are going to be elite. We're going to have 1 or 2 teams in each age group per state. So here I am in the state of Pennsylvania, forming a coaching staff. We're going to talk about our coaches in a minute, but we'll have 1 or 2 teams for the whole state of Pennsylvania. So obviously, if you're a kid that you can get on a team like that, and it's geared to help you develop and move on to the next level, it's a big advantage. That's why we had so much success, because we were doing things with a purpose. Okay, number 5, let's talk about the coaches. I'm also not a big fan of giving a 19-year-old a travel team and saying, hey, kid, go out and, just try to make sure nothing bad happens. We're missing a huge opportunity if we're doing that. And it's nothing against a 19-year-old kid. I was 19 one day, once upon a time too. But I wasn't ready to run a travel team. I was still learning to be a man, okay? So I'm not a big fan of that model. And I'm also not a big fan of, just dads coaching that don't really have any background in coaching or don't really have any background in elite level play. Nothing against dads. I've had some great dad coaches, but they were highly qualified to coach teams. So what I'm getting at is we're going to vet our coaches. I showed my sons my qualifications for our coaches, and here's their comment. Dad, you just eliminated 95% of all coaches in the United States. And that is true. I did. Why? Because I'm looking for the 5%ers. I'm not looking for the 95%ers. Same with players. We're looking for the 5%ers, not the 95%ers. In other words, we're not trying to appeal to the masses, and we're not trying to be all things to all people. So it's just really important. Our coaches are going to be mentors. They're going to be leaders of young men. I'm going to vet them. And if they somehow don't uphold the standards that we're going to talk about, they won't be here long. So if you're a coach watching this and you want to coach, it's great. Come on, fill out an application. But understand, this is like a franchise. You are going to be held to a very high standard. And if you don't want that, by all means, go coach for somebody who doesn't really care about those kind of standards. There's plenty of those guys to coach for. Sorry to be so cynical. Number 6, schedules. I keep saying the same thing. The reason this is put together is because I'm looking at the schedules that a lot of travel programs play, and they're not good. They're chasing trophies. They're going to watered down tournaments. If you have a good team, they're beating up on teams that aren't very good. I watch them. You look at the scores, 22-1, 13-0 in 3 innings. What is the point of that? If you're an egomaniac and you want trophies and you love to beat your chest and tell everybody that your son's on a team that's 42-3, good for you. That's not what we're going to be doing here. I'd rather go 15-15 playing good competition. I don't care about trophies. We are trying to get better. And the way you get better is you focus on development and you play good competition. There are ways of doing it. And it's not the madness of tournament baseball. We're going to be playing on college campuses against other elite level programs. We're going to be playing amongst ourselves. We have a big vision to have teams all across the country. We can easily set up some things for ourselves and have some of the best tournaments that you could ever imagine, because we're going to run them and it's going to be our teams, and our teams are all going to be good. So if you can imagine where that's going to go, which is actually number 7, our own events. Let me just paint that picture a little more clearly for you. Imagine this. Imagine we have 13U teams in 20 different states. Okay, elite level 13U teams. We have a 13U coach in Missouri. We have a 13U coach in Texas. We have one in Pennsylvania. You get the picture? And now we say to those 20 guys, hey, let's all meet at Coastal Carolina for the week, and let's just play all week long our own little round robin tournament or our own little tournament, or it doesn't even have to be a tournament. We just all play each other. But we're playing other states. It's not like we know each other very well, but it's the same organization. How fun would that be? As that model gets older, as the kids get older, I will tell you that will be one of the greatest scouting opportunities in the country for college coaches. Why? Because every team is put together for the purpose of moving them on to the next level. Now, I've already done this, so this is not, for me, not a new concept, but you don't see any other programs that have the ability really to do this because they really don't have like a franchise kind of thing. They got a name on their chest and they're willing to give that or sell that to somebody, but there's not a lot of culture built in across the entire organization. We will have that. So our own events. By the way, I don't think I mentioned this. Let me go back to our coaches. We will have coaches in each age group. I'm also not a fan of this model. You get on a team, you get comfortable with the coach, you get comfortable with all the players and the parents, and everybody just kind of moves through 13, 14, 15, 16 together. That is fun. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's comfortable, but that is not how you get better. That breeds complacency. Like a kid only having one coach in travel baseball is not in his best interest. So in our program, we're going to have a 13U coach in Pennsylvania, let's say, a 14U coach, a 15, 16, 17. They'll stay in that age group. They'll be experts in their age group. They know what a 14U elite level player looks like. They're connected. And so as you go through our program, you're going to need to make the 13U team. But then guess what? You got to make the 14U team. You're not along for the ride. Now, I know some people are going to get scared by that. They're going to go, oh my gosh, so there's a chance he plays for you when he's 13 and he doesn't play when he's 14. Yes. If you understand what it means to develop competitors, that you got to fight and scratch and claw, not just to get that position, but you got to do that to keep that position. That's how you get better. A lot of these kids going through travel baseball have never really learned to compete for anything. They get on teams and they're comfortable. Comfortable is your enemy. Okay, so that's going to be very unique in our program. And by the way, there's one more huge benefit to that, and that is you have to learn to play for different types of coaches. Okay, if you were fortunate enough to play professional baseball, you got a rookie ball coach. Okay, you're not going to single A, double A, triple A in the major leagues with the same coach. You got to learn to play for different coaches. Well, what if you could do that when you were younger? What if it would become natural to have different coaches? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, number 8, training for everybody. When you have these high standards, it's not fair to try to hold people to a standard they don't understand or know about. So we're not making that mistake. What we're saying is, no, we have a training program so you know exactly what you're a part of. Little videos, little quizzes. Like, we want you to be educated on everything we do, how we do it, why we do it, and you will be well trained. And I did this in my other programs, and it worked phenomenally well. We had a little shirt that said, congratulations, you graduated with a 4.0. People loved that. We'll probably do that again. And, it was fun. But when you have educated parents, especially, they're relaxed, they're comfortable. Don't take this wrong, folks, but when parents, when they have parameters and they're held to standards, they feel secure. When they're left to their own devices, and I used to joke with our parents all the time, I'd say, when you're left to your own devices, you are going to blow this. I'm not going to let that happen, okay? So we had fun with it. So we're going to have training for everyone. A very strong culture. Like I said, we're going to have teams all across the country, but we're going to be the same no matter where. So, when you go in a McDonald's in Pennsylvania, pretty much the same as one in Kansas, right? That's how our program's going to be run. All the coaches will be trained the same way. They may have different styles of coaching. Some guys are high energy, other guys are more cerebral. Some guys like to bunt, some guys don't. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the standards, the expectations, the policies, the procedures, the way we do things, the professionalism, the way we conduct ourselves. We have a no profanity policy across the entire organization. So we don't have guys coming in doing things their own way and stuff like that. Okay. So I just think when you build a strong culture, it's something you can be really proud of. You can count on it. You can be secure. It's no easy task, don't get me wrong, but I'm up for it because I've done it before and I'm going to do this one better than anything I've ever done before. So finally, we get to number 10. So thanks for hanging in there with me. As you can tell, there's just so much to think about when you're putting together a travel program. So let's talk about number 10. It's maybe one of the most important, and that is fun. We want this to be fun for our players, our coaches, and our parents. a lot of people are not having fun in travel baseball because of one or more of the things I talked about in this video not being in place. And you can pick any one of them or multiple ones and see if you didn't have that, it could turn out to be not fun. Maybe let's just say your coach isn't a great mentor. Okay, let's just say your schedules are kind of not very good. Let's just say that the people in the program are not holding a very high standard. You see what I'm saying? So all that steals the joy, steals the fun. Maybe you're a really good player and you're on a team with kids that aren't your level, and that's stealing the joy or the fun. So all I'm saying is, when you find the right program, and I think for many people we will be the right program, you can give yourself a little break and have fun. And when I look back over the history of the program that I ran prior to this, we had so much fun. We made lifetime memories, we made lifetime friendships, and had a lot of success. So in this program, number 10 it's designed for that. It's designed to keep you from being stressed, overwhelmed, frustrated. Baseball's frustrating enough, right? I mean, we can't probably change how hard this game is to play, but all the logistics around it, we can do a lot of things to take the stress and the overwhelmingness out of all of that. So I hope you can see the value in the way we set this up. And as we develop the program and we find coaches around the country, hopefully maybe you can try out for one of our teams and play for Ambassadors Baseball. And by the way, let me just finish this. If you are a coach or you know of a coach that would be interested in a program like this, make sure they get in contact with me. There's a link in the descriptions below that you can apply to be a coach. So, we're looking for the right men. So make sure that they know about this. All right. Well, thanks for hanging in there with me. I know it's a long video. I appreciate you very much, and God bless.